He truly hated her more than anyone. Ringo Starr was born Richard Starkey on July 7th, 1940 in the working-class district of Dingle, Liverpool, England. Rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most beloved figures in the history of popular music. His early life was marked by hardship. His family struggled financially, and his childhood was plagued by serious health issues. As a young boy, Ringo spent long periods in hospitals recovering from illnesses such as peritonitis and tuberculosis, which kept him away from school and delayed his education. Yet these difficult experiences shaped his resilient spirit and deep appreciation for life. During those long hospital stays, he discovered his love for rhythm, often drumming on tables and bedpans, unknowingly setting the foundation for his future as one of the world's most iconic drummers. Before achieving international fame, Ringo worked a variety of jobs, including as an apprentice joiner and a machine operator in a Liverpool factory. His passion for music, however, could not be suppressed. Inspired by skiffle and early rock and roll, he began playing drums with local bands, eventually joining Rory Storm and the Hurricanes, one of Liverpool's leading groups at the time. His dynamic drumming style and cheerful personality made him stand out. And by 1962, destiny came calling. When the Beatles' original drummer Pete Best was dismissed, Ringo was invited to join John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison. His arrival completed the lineup that would change the course of music history forever. As the drummer of the Beatles, Ringo Starr became known for his steady, reliable beat, his inventive fills, and his unique sense of timing. Though he often stayed in the background, his musical contribution was vital to the band's signature sound. Songs like Ticket to Ride, Rain, and A Day in the Life showcased his ability to enhance melodies with subtle yet powerful rhythm work. Beyond drumming, Ringo's warm personality and comedic charm made him a fan favorite. He also stepped into the spotlight as a singer on several Beatles tracks, including With a Little Help from My Friends, Yellow Submarine, and Octopus's Garden, each of which reflected his approachable, good-natured character and childlike sense of wonder. When the Beatles disbanded in 1970, Ringo Starr refused to fade into the background. Instead, he embarked on a solo career that proved he was far more than just a drummer in a famous band. His debut solo albums, Sentimental Journey, 1970, and Bocas of Blues, 1970, showed his versatility and deep appreciation for different musical genres, including pop, country, and jazz standards. In 1973, his album, Ringo, became a huge commercial success. Single hits such as Photograph and You're 16 topped the charts worldwide. His friendly, relatable style resonated deeply with audiences, and his collaborations with his former Beatles bandmates demonstrated the enduring bond they shared even after the band's breakup. Beyond his music, Ringo Starr developed a successful career in acting and film. He appeared in several movies, including Caveman, 1981, That'll Be the Day, 1973, and The Magic Christian, 1969, alongside Peter Sears. His natural comedic timing and down-to-earth personality made him an appealing presence both on-screen and off. In later years, he also became a narrator and voice actor for children's television, most notably lending his voice to the beloved series Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, and introducing a whole new generation of fans to his warm, engaging storytelling. In the years since, Ringo has continued to tour and record, performing with his all-star band, a rotating lineup of celebrated musicians from various generations. His concerts have grown into joyous celebrations of music, unity, and friendship, as Beatles classics have merged with his solo hits and the songs of his bandmates. His influence as a drummer also continued to grow, with countless artists citing him as an inspiration for his precision, musicality, and understated brilliance. In respect for his immense contribution to music and culture, Ringo was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 2018, officially becoming Sir Richard Starkey, an overdue honor for a man who helped form modern popular music. Ringo Starr's romantic life tells a story of both the turbulence of his years as a world-famous Beatle and the enduring strength of love found later in his life. His two marriages, first to Maureen Cox and later to Barbara Bach, represent very different chapters of his personal journey, each marked by distinct emotions, challenges, and personal growth. Ringo's first marriage was to Maureen Cox, a Liverpool-born hairdresser who had been a devoted fan of the Beatles before she met him. Their story began in the early 1960s as Beatlemania began to take hold all over the globe. Maureen and Ringo met at the Cavern Club, the famous underground venue where the Beatles honed their craft and built their earliest fan base. Maureen was just a teenager when they met, and despite the overwhelming chaos that surrounded the band, their affection for one another grew quickly. Ringo, known for his warmth and humor, was deeply attracted to Maureen's nature, which balanced him out so well. And unlike many others smitten with his fame, she saw him as Richard Starkey, the man behind the drums, not just Ringo Starr, the international sensation. The two married on February 11th, 1965, at the height of the Beatles' fame. Their wedding caused a media frenzy as thousands of fans gathered outside the registry office, hoping to catch a glimpse of the newlyweds. Inside, the ceremony was intimate and emotional, attended by close friends and family, including fellow Beatles John Lennon and George Harrison. Maureen was incredibly loyal and strong during those years. While Ringo toured the world and faced the pressures of superstardom, Maureen maintained their home life in England, often shielding him and their growing family from the overwhelming spotlight. The couple went on to have 3 children, Zach, Jason, and Lee Starkey. Zach would later follow in his father's footsteps, becoming a respected drummer in his own right and performing with iconic bands such as The Who and Oasis. But as the years wore on and the Beatles broke up in 1970, serious strains began to hit the marriage. The pressures of fame, long separations, and rock and roll temptations took their toll. As Ringo has admitted himself, he struggled at that time, turning to alcohol and living a wild, chaotic lifestyle in the wake of the Beatles' breakup. Despite Maureen's best efforts to hold the family together, their relationship started to become increasingly distant. Their marriage officially came to an end in 1975, though they remained connected through their children and mutual respect. Sadly, Maureen Cox would eventually die in 1994 from leukemia when she was just 48 years old. Her death hit Ringo hard, as he was by her side during her final days. Later, he remembered her as one of the most genuine and caring people he had ever known, a true part of his life that he would always carry with him. After years of soul-searching and personal transformation, Ringo found love once again through Barbara Bach, an actress and model best known for her role as the Bond girl Anna Amasova in the 1977 James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me. The two met in 1980 on the set of the adventure comedy film Caveman, in which they both starred. Their chemistry was immediate, undeniable. Ringo would later recall their meeting as love at first sight, stating that Barbara brought calmness, elegance, and emotional stability to his life, a far cry from the turbulence he had endured during his earlier years. Their relationship blossomed quickly, and the two were married on April 27, 1981, in a lavish ceremony at Marylebone Town Hall in London, the same place where Paul McCartney had married Linda Eastman more than a decade prior. Friends and family, fellow musicians all gathered to celebrate the union of two people who, quite literally, had found peace and companionship in one another. Barbara became a huge influence in helping Ringo confront his struggles with addiction. In the late 1980s, both Ringo and Barbara entered rehab together, a decision that would change their lives. Ringo often says that Barbara saved him emotionally and physically, and that her support and love were crucial in his journey towards sobriety and stability. Throughout